You slayed it again, Jeff. You did a fine job.
This guy got the one last time.
Yes, he did.
Today, it's this guy's turn. Bam!
And welcome back to the Rowdy Studios with our friend Jeff Gluck of SB Nation. My name is Best Masters. On the far side, Buzz Cutler. We're talking Sonoma, the Toyota Save Mart 350. 350 kilometers, guys, on our first road course of the year, and the more technical of the two road courses.
Yeah, and I don't think you can buy a Toyota at Save Mart. I think Save Mart's a grocery store or something, right?
So they kind of combine to sponsor this
It's kind of like, you know, how you have Aflac and who's Carl's other sponsor?
Which zillion?
Yeah, Subway. You know, they put Toyota and Save Mart together.
Well, now that we've got that out of the way, let's talk about the racetrack.
All right, that's fine.
This is, when you look at Watkins Glen, the drivers will tell you this is more of like a high-speed course. This is not. The turns are slow here. And it's what you'd call a more technical road course. So does that favor, we know the road course guys are going to be good here. Who does that favor in your mind?
Who does it favor? Anybody that's good on a road course. I mean, a road course racer is a good road course racer, right? I mean, if you look at, like, take Ambrose, for instance. He's good at both types of road courses, or whatever. I mean, I think the skill of, you know, you talked about the cricket analogy a lot with open wheel guys, but I think the road course skill is more of a, yes, there might be different types of turns and all that stuff, but I think if you're good at a road course, you're good at any type of road course, in my opinion. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about a road course is, at least from the guys that I've talked to, specifically Rick Mast, is that it's very counterintuitive to an oval track driver. What is fast on a road course doesn't feel fast to a guy that's used to racing ovals, especially getting into the corner real easy, not sliding the tires like at all, and hitting your marks very precisely.
And I would say that separation, that difference, is more pronounced at Infineon than at Watkins Glen.
That's probably
at
true.
Watkins Glen, I think your Cup regulars can probably make the transition a little bit more easily than they do at Infineon.
Now, here's the other thing. You look at a race like Martinsville, for example, where we know it's hard to pass in the corners. A flat track, slow corners. You got 500 laps at Martinsville. It's tough to pass, but you could pass at either end. That's 1,000 chances to pass. You got 110 laps at Infineons. How many chances do you have to pass here?
Maybe a couple hundred, but only if you're like right on them.
Right.
I mean, so
if you're behind a guy that's slower in a lot of the race course, but he beats you in that turn 11 hairpin, that's a chance that you can't get by him. You're
right.
stuck.
You got one of the up on the hill.
Right.
There's a corner you can dive inside.
Right. I think it's at that 4 or 7.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
One of those numbers.
But of course, one of the ways that you do pass people at a road course is in the pits by working pit strategy and running the race backwards.
Very good point.
Yeah, the fuel strategy thing. It's come into play more often than not recently, right?
And we should explain it a little bit, because on a road course, sort of like what happened at Michigan last week when Matt Kenseth went into the pits and came out and was still on the lead lap. So when the caution came out, he wasn't totally screwed. Well, on a road course, unless you're way back, you're not going to lose a lap when you pit under green. So it's actually better to, quote-unquote, get caught by the caution, right? Get your pit stop done and have the caution come out. Everyone else comes in, you stay out, and you're in the lead, and track position is so vital.
Right. You know, one thing that Marcus Ambrose learned last year about how steep it is there, and that's the biggest thing. If you've never been to Sonoma, the biggest thing that struck me going there is like how steep the hills are. I mean, you can kind of see it on TV a little bit, but you see it in person, you're like, whoa.
They're going up a big hill.
They're going up, like, up. It's crazy.
Right.
When they go up, they get to a flat part, they go up another part, and you can't see over the hills. You come up over the first hill, and you're like totally blind. I did like a pace car ride. You come up, and if somebody's sitting in the track, there's no way they could see him at all. And the spotters can't see the whole track. So
is this where you spotted for Boris said?
No, that was at the Glen. Yeah.
Well, here's a question too. Then we talk about the sight lines and all. Incidents, wrecks, tempers. That's actually a part of road course racing too.
Right. That's why, to me, you got the super speedways, the short tracks, and the road courses are like the 3 best types of racing, because all those, you get people mad at each other. You get exciting finishes.
You're a hater, aren't you? You love all the conflict, Jeff.
I like the drama.
Yeah.
I love road course racing. I'm really looking forward to this weekend. I love watching road courses. Yeah. Now, I concede that they may not be as entertaining in person, though I've never attended one in person because you have such a limited view of the track. But on TV, I love watching a road course.
It's going to be interesting. Marcus Ambrose is a guy a lot of us are looking at as the favorite here. You know, not only is he, as you said earlier in the podcast, I think, Jeff, the most talented guy on a road course in a lot of people's minds, But there's the redemption factor here because of the way he blew it last year by turning his engine off and not being able to get it refired. And a win here puts him in decent shape for a wild card spot and a spot in the chase.
Yeah, I mean, it's really not out of the question at all that he could sweep the road courses and get in the chase just on his road course ability.
Right, but he's in 21st now, so not only does he have to get in the top 20, he has to maintain it. So I think his challenge, if he gets these wins, is can he maintain good enough finishes at the ovals to maintain that top 20 position? But that's getting ahead of ourselves.
And then he might have to keep a guy from Greg Biffle or Tony Stewart from winning a race too, unless
just
he does
by,
what you're saying,
by hooking them on the straight,
which is sweeping the road course, which is another wrinkle. That's another wrinkle to this wild card format. Anybody else you'd look at? Jimmy Johnson won this thing last year, Jeff.
But that was an anomaly, wasn't it, Jeff?
Well, no, I think he had worked and he'd finally gotten good at it. I mean, I do think that you got to go with the favored, the names we usually hear. Montoya is another one, obviously. I mean, Stewart, I don't think is, remember he used to be like really good on the road courses?
So good. I know, it's been a while.
Automatic.
Yeah,
it's been
Gordon, obviously.
Same thing.
Yeah.
I think you got to look at Kevin Harvick too. I mean, Kevin Harvick's pretty good at these tracks. Hasn't he not won here?
He's
or was it just that Robbie Gordon knocked him out of the way or passed him under caution?
I don't remember.
I don't know.
I mean, there are guys who are good at road courses that we don't talk about a lot, like Jamie McMurray. He's a good road course driver. Denny Hamlin has decent finishes on road courses.
Casey Kane won here.
Kyle Busch.
And has qualified on the pole here, too, if I'm not mistaken, Casey Kane.
Kyle Busch is a good road course driver. So, I mean, there are other guys, but clearly the four we mentioned, Gordon, Stewart, Montoya, and Ambrose, are the cream of the crop. And then you've got the road course ringers that you don't really expect any noise from. Is this a place that Andy Lally can get a decent finish?
Define decent.
For Andy Lally, a top 20.
I think he can get a top 10.
Really?
Yeah.
It'll be interesting, too. Boris Said has come close a couple of times. It'd just be interesting. I think maybe that time has passed.
I think his time is best.
But you just never know. He's a fun guy to watch, and he usually figures out a way to get to the front.
And they always put the camera on his feet, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing like watching Boris Said's feet. That's what you'll get to do on Sunday. California, 3 o'clock Eastern is the start time. Jeff Gluck will be there. We'll be back on Monday to talk about it. That's our look at the Toyota Save Mart at 350.
Rowdy.com. Say it like it is.
Say what like it is?
Rowdy.com.